Welcome to Ducks on the Pod, a baseball podcast with your hosts, Matt Welker and Jake Mosley. Jake, it is absolutely fucking October. Well, not technically,
Not yet.
but
mortgage isn't due yet.
Yes, metaphorical October is here, and by Wednesday it will be October, and it's playoffs. And guess who made the playoffs, Jake?
Yeah, congratulations.
Let's go Reds. Thankfully, we had some help from the Mets. Don't need to drive on them too hard. I did think it was kind of interesting that Peter Alonso, the polar bear, I mean, I think it was probably guessed that it was going to happen like that, but I kind of thought he'd at least let people calm down first before just saying, yep, I'm opting out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally in the post-game interview.
Yeah.
We're drinking out of our Lord of the Rings sick mug that we got at the Renaissance Fest, by the way.
Nice. The Mets, we talked about it like at the beginning of the year, like if this falls apart, how's it going to happen? We both said offense isn't an issue. It's all going to be the pitching. And like since the trade deadline, they scored the most runs in baseball. And they figured out how to go backwards because the pitching fell off. So it's surprising that with that budget, they didn't make the playoffs. But also, like when you look at roster construction, I don't think either of us are like super, super surprised. It was definitely a possibility. And their weakness turned out to be more negative than the positives on the offense side.
I feel like in the years of us talking baseball together, I've always said, like, I don't understand how they aren't in the playoffs every year. Like, it's not even because they spend money. It's just the names are on it. Even before Soto, like, I always liked their team. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of studs on it, but they just never could put it together and do anything. Obviously, last year they did and made it to the NLCS, but like the last 5 years, it's just been a joke.
Yeah, they've always kind of been like up and down. It seems like there's been a lot of turnover. Like when you think of like the Syndergaard, Jacob deGrom, like they've had so many like names. Now they're completely opposite of that team. They were all pitching and then catching like a heater from Daniel Murphy for like their offensive production, and now they're all offense, no pitching. So I wouldn't be surprised if they shift to more of a balanced approach, but also just a good reminder that like obviously having money doesn't work against you in any way. It opens up the door for things, but it's just a lot more important still to like have some homegrown talent or like roster balance. And it's not necessarily like you can pay the best player in baseball a fuck ton of money, and clearly like they're still only good for a certain amount of improvement on your team. Like it still takes a full team. It still takes depth from like minor leagues that like have to step in and help you win games. And it might be the middle of May, but like those games mean the same. And I'm sure they wish they had some of those now because it would have obviously turned things around.
Which I think me and you probably, at least I mostly disagree when people get angry about early season losses, especially like Reds opening day, for instance. We put in Ian Jabot, he gives up that home run to, I forget if it was Flores or Ramos. I think it was Ramos, but everybody's just like, if we missed the playoffs by one game, it's because of this. It's like, no, we also would have lost 70 to 80 games or however many games. It's like, you got to look at those as well.
Yeah. The thing is like, yes, one game means the same. It's a little bit contradictory to what I just said, but like you got to think that over 162, it all balances out in the sense of you end up where you're supposed to be, you know, like there's flaws, but then it's hard not to point the finger at like a game or a situation where it's like, yeah, that one really mattered. But you can't just like think, hey, we're good. We're just going to make up for lost time after this slow start or whatever. You can't do that. Like this season's long, but it's not so long that you can just erase things. Like the problem is they didn't control their own destiny at the end of the year. Like whatever the Reds did they were dependent on that.
Yeah, I think I heard elsewhere. I forget exactly where it came from, but I think over like the last like 80 games, the Reds I believe went like 40-40. Um, so like they legitimately handed it to us, but we still won. I think it was 8 of our last 11. Like
Yeah, they
we kind of
crumbled.
nutted up when we needed to, but yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to say we 100% deserved it
Yeah.
and stole it from them.
It's,
They gave it to
it
us,
definitely wasn't like a
and we just
Guardian
did enough to
situation
get in.
where, like, yeah, Detroit fumbled the bag as far as the division goes.
Yeah,
but like
but
Cleveland
then
played
Guards actually won,
out of
and
their ass
yeah,
to
they
do
went
it
on a
too.
10-game streak.
Right.
At the same time, Detroit was 1-9 over that same 10 games.
Yeah. Like the Mets didn't really have to do that much over the second half, and they just didn't do it.
Correct. All right, I think that's enough dogging on the Mets.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm good.
I was going to make a note about salary because I thought this was funny. So obviously the Reds have the 23rd highest salary or payroll this year. Guardians 25, or I think it. Yeah, sorry, the Reds at 24, Brewers 23, Guardians 25, Tigers 17. I love seeing that stuff because it gives the middle teams or the middle tier, low tier city teams hope every year.
Yep.
And it's fucking awesome. And I love that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out because obviously the top one didn't make it in the Mets. 2, 3, 4, and 5 did. But then the remaining ones I didn't name already are 9, 10, and 16. So only 6 of the top 10 in payroll made it. Which, by the way, I didn't know this, but the Angels have the 11th highest payroll.
Yeah, I mean, money certainly helps, but like you still have to make smart organizational decisions.
Yeah.
Like money doesn't cover all. I think it's just a little bit lazy when people are like, oh, we don't have the money to spend it, so we can't be good. Like that's not true at all. It happens all the time.
Especially in the central divisions, because everybody says that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can compete.
Yep.
And you just have to run your organization a little bit differently. Get some.
Yeah.
You got to work more through the farm and actually develop players, and kind of get lucky at the same time. But
yeah, it's definitely harder. It's just like having more money also lets you pay up for guys, and that opens the door for having like hundreds of $1 million worth of mistakes too, which people tend to turn a blind eye to and only like to look at like the Yankees or the Dodgers spending a lot of money and winning. Like, yeah, but they also like they have Aaron Judge. Like they didn't, even though they paid for Aaron Judge, like nobody's had the option to have Aaron Judge besides the Yankees.
mm-hmm.
You know, like they.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was drafted by them, but he came up through their organization to the point where like, yeah, they're paying him a lot of money, but you still have to give them credit. They developed him.
Yeah. I feel like he wasn't he?
I don't remember.
No, actually, yeah, this is right. He got drafted by the A's, didn't sign with them, and then got drafted by the Yankees in the first round.
Seemed like the Braves.
Right,
the Braves have a million
something
guys
else.
too. Like,
correct, and they all signed them to very smart and team-friendly
yeah.
deals.
Yeah, my topic.
Yeah, I believe you said you wanted to go over something. So let's hear
it. Kind of two topics but trust me, they go together. So I'll try to segue them as best as I can. But ABS system, big rule change coming next year. Curious what your thoughts are on that. Before you jump in, I kind of see it two ways, and I could be persuaded either way. I'm really interested in one, how the decisions come down. Like, is it the catcher? Is it the pitcher? Is it the batter? Is it a manager making that decision? So I want your thoughts on kind of how you envision it being implemented, knowing that they only get 2 challenges. And obviously you want to use those at important times, but also balancing like any time could be an important time in a baseball game because it's not based on time. It's based on outs. Like it could be in the second inning, and that could be the most important pitch of the sequence or something. Like that's huge. So just kind of curious how you envision it rolling out first.
Yeah, so I like it. First off, I like that they're not just because I feel like the original idea was to each batter, it's like a disengagement for pitchers. Like each batter, because it's such a quick thing and it's already decided upon basically every single pitch anyway. You just have to call for it. I feel like the original idea was to give each at bat like 2, something like that. Which I'm glad they're not going straight to that because that would just be chaos. Having only 2, and it's like the challenge now. If you get it right, you retain it. If you don't, you obviously lose it when you get 2. What I see it happening is like, let's say for the Yankees, for instance, I can almost guarantee you Boone's going to be like the only guy that's allowed to challenge is Judge.
From a hitter.
Or like if it's like the final, if it's one of the final outs in the game and it's like it was actually very close, and the hitter, like it's on the hitter at that point. Because I don't think the coaches can call it. I think it has to be the hitter, pitcher, or the catcher. And it has to be like immediate.
Yeah.
Like it's not the challenge where they stick their hand out and they're like, oh no, go ahead, or ask for the headphones, but it's got to be like immediate.
I would want it in the hands of the catcher.
To see how that's going to go.
I feel like the catcher's the one, like from a defensive standpoint, they're the ones who have an idea of the zone the best. Obviously, they've seen the most pitches, and they don't really have stake in the sense of like every pitcher thinks every pitch is a strike to some degree, whereas like a catcher has a little bit more of like this is what the zone is today because they're seeing it a lot more. And then from a hitter standpoint, I think you have to have like, hey, these 2 guys, you have green lights to do it. And then besides that, like, I don't know if it's a conversation when they're sitting in the hole, if there's guys on, be like, hey, if it's a inning ending strike or something and you legitimately think it's outside, I don't care who you are, like you're allowed to do that in like certain situations. I think that's kind of how it goes down, but I'm kind of interested. I'm sure teams will have different strategies, and it's kind of like a test and learn thing in terms of like how early do we want to burn them? Like, do you want to risk it in a second inning with bases loaded, or thinking there might be something more, or know that that's the best chance they have to score a run in that game? So interesting. But that brings me kind of to the second part. Oh, sorry. Do you have something to add to that?
I was going to say, I was listening to Baseball is Dead earlier, and Dallas made a good point about it. He's like, this is going to be a fun thing to see in the minor leagues because basically in like live ABs at practice, they're probably going to ask them to tell them whether it was just ball or strike every single pitch. Mm-hmm. And they'll probably start to keep internal metrics on each player and how well they can actually see the zone. Yep. And like that could literally be the reason that they are allowed to challenge one in the bigs or not.
Yeah.
And then they also talked about, I think they said it was like, of all the attempts in AAA or spring training, I forget the body of the data here, but it was like anytime it was challenged, it was only successfully overturned 53% of the time, something like that. And then my last point on it, because I don't know what your second thing's going to be, it's going to be very interesting to see like if umps change anything, mm-hmm. like if catchers are starting to argue it a lot more. If the ump's just going to be like, all right, fine, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling things closer now, or calling things that are close to ball, like automatically, just so that you use your challenges, blah, blah, blah. But I could see some emotion getting stirred up between batter and catcher or batter or catcher with the umpire.
Yeah. I'm excited that it's only 2 because I still think that there's value in like catchers or pitchers earning certain spots of the plate in a way. I know unfortunately kind of gone away a little bit because of like umpire report cards, and it's very publicized now how you do. Like if you watch an old game, like Kerry Wood's 20 strikeout game comes to mind. Like if you watch that, like he's ringing people up left and right on clearly things that are off the plate, but he earned it that day. And I've always liked that aspect of baseball. So I'm a little bit sad to see it come in the sense of that's probably going away slowly but surely. But also that brings me to the point of like, what do you think of the catcher's position today? Because there's obviously the Aaron Judge versus Cal Raleigh MVP debate. Judge clearly has better offensive numbers. Mm-hmm. Raleigh is a catcher though, and people are like, it's a lot harder to do that as a catcher, and that should be valued. So curious where you stand on that. And like, does being a catcher matter more now because of the amount of information that they have and have to retain? But also, like, framing, I think, is getting to be less important from a defensive standpoint. Stolen bases are more likely to happen, or more likely to be successful than ever before. So, like, kind of some of the defensive parts of catcher have gone out the window a little bit to some degree, where I think, like, you should kind of be judged by your offensive stuff, equally to, like, Aaron Judge in Cal Raleigh's case, or kind of where do you stand on, like, what you think of the catcher position, how ABS folds into that, and, like, is defense important?
I mean, I personally, very well that I've never been a big care of elite defense.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be good, not you don't necessarily have to be elite. I don't really care if catchers are that good. I do agree with the standpoint of it should help Cal get more votes because he's a catcher and Judge is just planted out in right field. Like if Stanton didn't exist, he would probably DH a lot as well. But I do think that'll help him. I still think Judge is going to win the MVP because his hitting numbers are just absurd. Like his average is 70 points better.
Yeah.
I understand people's sentiment on Cal Raleigh because the home runs are crazy. He's doing it as a switch hitter. I'm actually very curious. Like just an immediate thought. I want to know if any of the voters are going to be dissuaded to pick him because he uses the torpedo pad.
I hope not.
I'm sure some old heads will either vote for him because he is a catcher and they understand how hard that position is. Or I would hope that nobody votes against him because of that. But I mean, yeah, like we kind of already touched on ABS with catchers, like that. I feel like emotionally it could change in the game. I feel like framing will be still important because if you're able to dupe an umpire to calling a ball a strike or a strike ball, obviously you wouldn't want that. But like that is going to spawn more frustration out of the hitter to where they may just think that they're right and challenge something kind of irrationally and lose one of their precious two challenges.
Yep. One kind of crazy stat that I don't think a lot of people probably know, in terms of Cal Raleigh, like the one thing he had, well, two things besides being a catcher, that's one thing, getting him extra MVP votes, but also people look at the raw, like, home run numbers. He hit 60, it's a milestone. Judge isn't there. Although impressive, over 50, right?
What? Judge is what, 56?
I think he's like 53.
Anyway,
regardless. So in Seattle is known for being a pitcher's park historically. This year, not so much. Part of that has to do with the offense that they have, kind of swaying things. They hit a lot of home runs. Cal Raleigh has 60 home runs this year. Now, Yankee Stadium, known for being the opposite, hitter's paradise. If Cal Raleigh played every game in Yankee Stadium this year, he'd only have 50 home runs. He has 60. Really? Yep. Now, if he played every game in Seattle, he'd only have 56. So he's hitting them in the right spots to get raw home run numbers. But it's just kind of crazy. Yeah, 50. In fact, there's only two stadiums.
Well, yeah, well, it looks like a lot of his home runs are right down the right field line. I wonder if that's it.
Well, right field is pretty nice in Yankee Stadium.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's probably 8 that is right on the foul pole. I don't know. I'm not privy to
every dimensions.
I just know it's tiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy. Like, if you're going to hang your hat on the home run total, a lot of them are the factor of the park. Like, he's hitting them in a great spot. And everyone's like, oh, Aaron Judge, like, he's going to hit a lot of home runs. He plays in Yankee Stadium. Well, Cal Raleigh would have 10 less home runs if he played every game in Yankee Stadium. In fact, there's only 2 stadiums in which he would have more home runs, and it's Sacramento and Great American.
Yep.
So he is
he would
completely
absolutely destroy
maximized his long fly balls, turning them into home runs versus like kind of what's expected. So not that that should
That's wild.
not that should be something to vote against him for, but if you're putting a lot of stake in home runs and only home runs and discounting Aaron Judge because he plays in Yankee Stadium, like you ought to know that Cal Raleigh would only have 50 if he played in Yankee Stadium. It's just
That's
crazy. Yeah.
He would only have 44 if he played at Kauffman.
Yeah. Kauffman's a big yard, though. Like, that kind of makes sense. Yankee Stadium is
correct.
like, it's an outlier. It's weird. Like, he is an outlier, not necessarily stadiums. Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
Did you say how many Judge would have at T-Mobile?
I didn't, but I can tell you. How about that?
I'll beat you to it. Guarantee it.
Oh, yeah?
No, just kidding. I think I clicked off.
Oh, no. 54. He'd have one more.
Yeah.
In Seattle. He's 53, so it was right on that.
That's wild, too, how many red numbers he has for this year.
Yeah.
Across the different parks.
It's just interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting.
So I know we spent more time on that than I told you pre-show, so.
Yeah, we budgeted 9 minutes for off playoff, and we're currently at 20, so.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into that.
Let's do it.
Shall we?
I'm ready.
Jake, as we've said, it is playoff time. Obviously, a very exciting time. This is our first playoffs review here on Ducks on the Pod. I'm excited, man. Oh, actually, that's not technically true. It's the first podcast we've done with it, but we did start making social medias at this time last year. And I do remember correctly calling the vast majority of the Wild Card series. Just a little side note of it. All right, so I think we should start in the AL since our two teams are in it on the NL.
All right.
And we typically talk about the AL first on this year podcast. Let's start for the first game of the day, Cleveland and Detroit. What are your thoughts here?
It's hard not to like Cleveland. Williams is really good.
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Well, I've been a Detroit guy all year, but like
I know
Cleveland just broke their souls, and if I'm Detroit, the one team I don't want to see is Cleveland right now. Their pitching has been absolutely incredible second half of the year. So I think like a big thing kind of throughout the year was like, oh, Detroit's pitching staff is so good. They got Skubal, this, that, and the other, and then their offense is like good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the tides have kind of turned. I think like Cleveland's almost addition by subtraction in a lot of ways. Like they have a lot of like young guys who don't know like the moment, which I think is almost a good thing for them. Like Cleveland always figures it out. I've said it 1,000 times before. You never know how they're going to do it, but you look up at the end of the day and like they squeak out wins. Like they're just a complete baseball team all the time. Like it's some organizational phenomenon as far as I'm concerned. Because the players just aren't that good. Like obviously they have good players, but like outside of like Jose and Kwan, like I wouldn't even call Kwan like a superstar by any means, but they just figure it out. No. They don't like it's a can't quit, won't quit attitude. And they just reeled in the Tigers. Like I'd be terrified if I'm a Tigers fan.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer, and I would hope pretty much everybody is that's a baseball fan, in momentum, basically, which guards have a lot of it, and the Tigers have none of it at this current moment in time. So what I'll be very curious to see in this matchup, so with these shortened wild card series, only being 3 games, I think winning the first game is just utmost importance in all of these series, which basically defines them as just crazy and chaos. Like last year, like I would think most people probably picked the Astros to sweep the Tigers in 2 when it was actually the Tigers sweeping the Astros in 2, which is one of the ones I did call. which not really for any reason. I just said they were going to. But having Skubal in game one, I know he hasn't been pitching the greatest recently, but he's probably still going to win the Cy Young. Him versus Gavin Williams, obviously that leans towards the Tigers in a big way. But it'll just be interesting because I feel like the guards have hit Skubal well. They did that whole thing where they scored a run on him without the ball ever leaving the infield and not even getting any outs on that, I believe. But this will be a fun one. I'm glad it's the first game. And I just think it's going to be an absolute fun one just because of the storyline of September, how they were down 15 games, came back and set that comeback record, and it'll be a wild one. A lot of homegrown talent on both teams too, by the way.
Yeah, it's just an all organizational match, which I love. And division rivals. The thing is, they've seen each other a million times. Like, I agree with you. Like, I don't care how Skubal's been pitching over the last couple starts or whatever. Gavin Williams is really good. Like,
he's made for the playoffs.
Yes. And I have more confidence in him, even though Gavin Williams is absolutely nasty and has been pitching phenomenal. So I definitely think like game one, at least when the starters are in, scale towards the Tigers advantage. But yeah. I still think the guards are – I think you're crazy if you go against the guards in favor of Detroit, given what's happened over the last month.
Especially in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in Cleveland, which that atmosphere in the playoffs is always just electric. Like,
step above other,
not firsthand, but watching it in your World Series run. What was that?
Yeah,
9 years ago now.
Top class. We're 10th of the way there before we can win another.
Guards playoff baseball is electric.
Yeah, it's like
I just can't wait.
It's a small budget teams that, like, when they have their hat in the ring, like, it's crazy. I'm not a big believer in home field advantage for baseball. Just a little side note, home teams are actually 4 games under 500 since the expansion of the playoffs.
I saw that.
Which obviously, if you have home field advantage, you're the better of the seeds. So you would think that translates fairly good to what the better team is, although obviously, like,
was that home field advantage? Is that just in the wild card?
No. No, that's every game.
Okay.
So I think the atmosphere is crazy. It's good, but to some degree, like, shutting down, like, having the motivation to shut down a home crowd is something to note as well. Like, I'm not a big believer in that, but when you think of Cleveland, like Cleveland's home field advantage, I kind of am a believer in, because that place is nuts. Not that everywhere isn't nuts, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it will be nuts, but it's a little bit different for the small team that it's truly like a Rocky situation.
Oh, the boxer. I thought you were talking about the Rocky.
No. Sorry. Yeah. Boxer.
I was like, you mean the team with the worst team in baseball? Or the worst record in baseball?
No.
Yeah. No, I think it should be a fun one, because obviously I know all the names of 3 position player for the Guardians just from watching baseball, but it's just hysterical looking this up and down. And you're just like, how the fuck did this team win a division?
They always do somehow. They always figure out a way to be competitive.
Yeah, because that popular statement going around of how there's only 2 people, Jose Ramirez and Kyle Manzardo, to have OPS plus over 100, meaning the rest of their team is below average hitters. Which Quan was, I think, at 99, so that kind of gets overshadowed. But it's a wild team. It's very top heavy, but like I was saying before, I fully believe in momentum in baseball. And when a team gets hot, one guy gets hot, it tends to catch fire the rest of the team.
Yep.
And holy hell, did that happen over the last month?
Yep.
Tigers have been playing exactly how I have thought that they would play outside of Javi Baez. And Spencer Torkelson, he's been electric this year. But like in all of our discussions with the Tigers before, I'm just like, I don't understand how this team does what they do. Like they're not that good, but they play good baseball, and I feel like they don't really have the pitching chaos that they did last year. But I mean, their pen is good. It's probably better than the Guards as a whole, but I don't know.
How about this?
I don't really see this coming down to the pens. I feel like it's going to be.
No, they got
if
horses.
Skubal can shut them down in the first game, I think the Tigers take it. However, when Skubal leaves the game, if it's either really close or it's tied or the Guards are winning, like I feel like the Guards winning too, which is hysterical. Because I'm saying that basically the first 5 innings of the first game is going to matter.
Yeah, the entire series.
Whether the Tigers win in 3 or the Guards win in 2.
Yeah. The Guards have the best ERA in baseball since the trade deadline. Detroit, 21st. Oh,
yeah, it's been absurd.
Yeah, they are on a pitching.
I think the Guards had it. Yeah, I think I saw something that said they were before. I think it was when Parker Messick gave up a couple runs the other day when I jokingly texted Georgie saying that he was shitty. I think they were on a 19-game streak of which the starters didn't allow more than two runs.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see if the momentum stays up because obviously when you're reeling in a team, it's easy to translate it from day to day. But now, like, we're back to square one. Everyone's at the same spot. There's no more reeling them in. Like, it's a breath of fresh air, honestly, for the Tigers of, like, thank God that's over. All you have to do is beat them 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, they had a 99.9% chance to get in the playoffs at like the start of September, and then
they almost
missed or made it by 1 game.
Yeah, crazy.
Which I do believe they held the tiebreaker over the Astros, but like
it's got to be one of the best races
baffling to me.
Ever.
Well, it's the biggest comeback for sure.
Yeah, I'm just talking like it. Usually, when you get to the end of the year, there's always going to be a race or two, especially for wild card spots in the modern era, because a lot of teams get to hang around 500 and still be in the conversation until late in the year. But in terms of like
Reds.
Old school, like we're racing for the division, like it's up there for an all-time run that AL Central came down to.
So have you said yet what you think your prediction is?
Yeah, I'm taking the Guardians.
In 2 or 3?
I'll take them 2. I just think they'd crush the Tigers' spirits.
I actually am going to go away from even what I just said about the whole Skubal thing. I think it's going to be Guardians in 3.
Okay.
Well, I started looking at it more and more, and I think Skubal's going to nut up and do Skubal things. At least put them in a position to win game 1. But I like what the Guards would have then in games 2 and 3 over Casey Mize and Jack Flaherty.
Yeah.
I feel like Jack Flaherty's stats just get padded up because he pitches like really fucking well against bad teams and then just awful against good teams.
Not sure if there's truth to that, but I love it.
Yeah. Also fun thing with it. If both teams go to their top 3 starters, like in whatever their set rotation is, there'll only be one lefty, and that's Skubal. So we'll see a lot of the same lineup the first 3 days.
Yeah.
Assuming it goes all 3. All right. Let's move on then to the other AL matchup. Probably the most exciting one.
I'd agree.
Actually, I would definitely say it's the most exciting. I hope it has the rivalry.
It's going to be so juicy.
Hotness.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn it. I clicked out of the wrong team. Oh yeah. I hope there's at least a couple, clearings of the benches just because not anybody actually gets in a fight, but
yeah,
just because it'll just kind of restore that rivalry, even though I feel like they don't really have it right now. But it'll be fucking awesome, I don't know what to think about this series yet. So I'm going to be making my prediction on the fly.
Okay. Love it.
So I'm going to let you go and see if you persuade me.
Yeah, I'll start off with my prediction. I think the Yankees win probably 3 games. Rivalry to the 10th degree is just going to string it out a little bit, I think. But the Yankees have the best player in baseball, Aaron Judge. They're pretty dang healthy. Like Trent Grisham is maybe the most improved player in all of baseball. Like Ben Rice, good. Cody Bellinger, good. The weak spots have been like defense and inconsistency, and it seems like they're kind of peaking at the right time. Volpe just got a cortisone shot like a couple weeks ago and has been on fire. So like I feel like he was the centerpiece for a Yankees collapse for a while, and now all of a sudden he's playing the best baseball he has all year. So I just feel like they're peaking at the right time. They have Rodon and Max Fried. Like it's going to be hard to take both of those games. So I think it's pretty much like they have an advantage in at least 2 of the games just based on that.
Yeah.
I think.
I also saw Giolito announce today that he won't be available.
Yeah,
this series because
I think
some sort of elbow.
Boston's a little. I hate to say like young because I just said that like the Guardians kind of can use that to their advantage, but the Guardians just feel like they're more of vets than Boston. Like Boston just seems green, if you will. I'll take the Yankees.
I think I'm leaning Yankees as well. First off, it is at their stadium. Like I was saying, with Giolito out, Roman Anthony's out. I also was looking at their lineup versus a lefty and their platoon. So obviously, Fried and Rodon are both lefties, but
yep.
Their lineup against lefties is not very sexy whatsoever. I don't know if they're going to do their normal platoon lineup. Like you might as well just get your best hitters out there. But that'll be, I don't know. I feel like I like the Red Sox as a healthy team, but they're just not healthy right now. And I feel like that's really just going to set them aside to kind of, I think the Yankees are going to win in 2.
In 2, yeah. They're just stacked up to win in 2.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I'm going to take 3
really
just for rivalry's sake. But like Rodon versus Bello, or Bello, however you pronounce his last name.
Bello.
In the second game, like, yeah, he's been good, but he's no Carlos Rodon. Like Carlos Rodon has been dominant. Max Fried has been dominant. Like I don't see the Yankees not like they're definitely going to win one of those 2, I think. And I think like there's a 50-50 chance that Fried beats Garrett Crochet. Like,
yeah, they're both so good.
Yeah. Like,
what time slot is that? Are those the 7:00 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like pick up the game in the 7th inning when it's 0-0.
Yeah. They start at 6, not 7.
No, sorry.
It's 1, 3, 6, and 9.
Same thing.
No, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously the back end of the Red Sox bullpen, super good with Whitlock and Chapman. But then again, Yankees are the same way. I could see, which they've had some ups and downs in their super pen is the term these days. But they're just so much better offensively. I believe they've scored the number 1 runs in all of baseball. And that's with missing Judge for a fair amount of time. Stanton didn't play the entire first half of the year. Didn't see Jazz doing what Jazz is doing. Didn't see Trent Grisham doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. They just have a lot in their lineup that they can beat you with. Like, it doesn't have to be Aaron Judge. You can pitch around Aaron Judge all day, and they still have enough to win.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to pitch to Ben Rice because you got Judge right behind him. You have to pitch – well, I guess you don't have to, but you probably should pitch a Judge because you got Belly right behind him, and then Stanton's right behind him, and then Jazz is right behind him. Like,
Yep.
Which Jazz hit 30 home runs this year. Like he's a threat to hit a long ball, and it's in Yankee Stadium, so
I will say
there's going to be a lot of home runs.
we just named a lot of lefties, so I could see like Crochet mowing them down. But odds are, with how deep their lineup is, like he's going to go as long as he needs to for them to win the game. But also, when you have Max Fried on the other side, like you might, like I said, it might be 0-0 after 7, and then you get into bullpens, and then all of a sudden, advantage Yankees. I would say, just from a lineup perspective. I understand both bullpens are good, but
be an hour and a half long game.
Aren't they the reason that like we have like a pitch clock kind of like every game between them in the past has like taken like 4.5 hours. There because TV
reliever,
like extra time in between
relievers
because they were always like on national television. Tons of step offs, tons of like high and in pitches where people are fighting warnings left and right, like just nasty. Like it just took forever, and they loved it for TV, so I made it drag on.
Yeah,
but I'll take the Yankees.
All right, so you got Yankees in 3. I have Yankees in 2. For some reason, I've always somewhat had I've always kind of liked the Red Sox. I don't know why, but so I want to pick for them, and obviously, growing up in the 90s, I've always hated the Yankees, so I don't want to pick them, but I feel like it's just they're going to win.
I've always liked the Yankees. I know like people hate when there's Yankees fans that like aren't true Yankees fans, which I'm not a true Yankee fan, but for some reason I've always liked the Yankees.
Well, it's because you're stupid. All right, so I don't think we should go into the next rounds. I think we should save that.
Yeah,
after.
We'll hit that with the next podcast.
Yeah, but that would leave us then with Yankees, Mariners, Guards. No, it'd be Yankees, Blue Jays, Guards, Mariners. Those will be fun too. All right, moving on over then to the NL, which we can start with the latest game. My Cincinnati Reds at the Los Angeles Dodgers in an effort to not let me go on a big rant. I'm going to let you start first.
All right.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Echo. Stop. Sorry. I don't know what I said to make that go off. One, like obviously the Dodgers are big favorites here. That's fact. I know I'm trying to be nice, but like, so the issue with the Reds have always been pitching's great, can't score runs. That's still true to this day.
Correct.
Dodgers, most talented roster in baseball. It kind of feels like they were just kind of hanging out, knowing they're going to be in the playoffs, and they're built for this time of year. That being said, like, how do the Reds win? Like, all these games got to be low scoring. Like, it's all, can pitching outweigh the Dodgers offense? Is there a chance of that? Absolutely. The thing is, like, I almost don't want to say it, but I have to. Like, I hope the Reds can score a run. Like, I don't want it to be the same Braves situation, like versus the Braves situation, because
yeah, we don't need to bring that up.
I know. I didn't want to, but like for the sake of the conversation, like it's a very similar setup from a Reds perspective.
We were about a 500 team then as well. So
yeah, it's just like,
so granted it was only 60 games, but
it's expanded playoffs. Like the Reds made it fair and square, but it's kind of that cutoff of like, do you have a chance to win a World Series or not? Like I would say the Reds are a no, especially given the draw. Like they have to go through Dodgers. If they make it through that, you got to go through Philly. If you make it through that, like any of the other teams, like
Brewers, Cubs, Padres, like
right, like it's like they have by far the worst draw in terms of where I think their talent is versus the teams that they're going to have to beat. Like it doesn't even matter when you get to the third round, like who you're playing. They've already won a playoff series against a team that has already won a playoff series. So I see it as a long haul. Obviously, I'll be rooting for him, Matt, for you, for the city I live in.
Jake. I hope that the vast majority of fans are rooting on the Reds.
Oh, yeah.
Not even just because they're the underdog, but
fuck the Dodgers. That's why.
The Dodgers theoretically are breaking the game of baseball, doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I would hope that everybody wants us to win, but I somewhat disagree, but it's not really disagreeing.
Okay.
It's more of me saying, if we had to face the Dodgers in the playoffs, it's right now. I would much rather it be right now in a 3-game set.
Yep.
To where, because like our 3-headed monster of Green, Waddolo, Abbott is still really fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've had your ups and downs on Abbott just because his metrics don't look the best.
I'm so pro Abbott now.
Obviously, we're facing Snell.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. But obviously, we're facing Snell, who has no-hit the Reds last year.
History.
However, only 5 of the current Reds ever faced him in that, and one of them is Santiago Espinal, who won't be playing. But like, I really like our chances of Green, Abbott, Waddolo. Well, I guess Green, Waddolo, Abbott. I believe that's the order we're going in. And then obviously, if one of them get into trouble, Singer can come in, Littell can come in. We also, like, you can throw in Martinez, you can throw in Burns. Like, Burns will definitely be used at any moment we need a strikeout, by the way.
Yeah.
Just because he's got that nasty fucking slider. But so, I mean, on paper, obviously, it's Dodgers all the way. I still think I'm going to pick the Dodgers. I haven't 100% decided on that on here yet.
Okay, still time to change.
I do think we can be a sparky team. Like I could, to your point, I think these are all going to be very low scoring games. And unless like the Dodgers just absolutely fucking get to one of our guys. Like, I don't know how they are against lefties, but obviously they're going to be facing 2 of them.
It does.
Assuming it goes,
they're going to be good guys. Everybody. You just got to survive.
Yeah. But like you're subbing in on their normal lineup. You're subbing in Miggy Rojas and Kike for Max Muncy and Conforto, which Conforto is dog shit. But I know Muncy's been hurt. I don't even know if he's playing. But I do have one question for you that is related to the Dodgers, but not really about the matchup. What are your thoughts on Kershaw not being on the roster? They've already said he's not going to be.
They're trying to win a World Series. You got to put your best guys out there.
So he's been really good recently, though. So I think the issue, or I think what they're doing is they want him in there. Yes, he has.
No,
I'm not
shaking my head at that. Just.
Oh, okay. I think he will be on the roster should they make a later round. Because first off, his experience, he's a good vibes guy. Like he'll probably just be more of an innings eater kind of guy versus being thrown in a high leverage position. Because he's been pitching well. He's just obviously he's not the shutout, wipeout Kershaw that he used to be. But I just thought that was kind of interesting to not even have him as a bullpen option. Because, I mean, it is 3 straight days. Like, obviously, endurance, stamina doesn't exist in these 3 games. So you're just going to, like, Pagan pitching 4 straight days in a row in our run to the playoffs here. Like, that's – everybody's going to be all hands on deck. Like, you're probably going to be pitching way less than you normally do in every game, too. But I just thought it was kind of interesting to not have the vet in Clayton Kershaw, who obviously has been dominant his entire career, to be in their team.
Yeah. My thoughts on him are I'm a subscriber of you manage a game much differently in the playoffs than you do regular season. Like the fact innings eaters and stuff, like I don't think this is the time of year to be like, hey, this guy pitched 25 pitches yesterday, is unavailable. Like we've seen huge runs from like Madison Bumgarner, Miller. Like it's how do you get 27 outs? And with that being said, like, yeah, Kershaw's been fine, but Kershaw's not been good enough to throw him out there as a starter. And at that point, like, is he really giving you a significant advantage on any specific situation, or are you better off going with a pen guy who throws 100? I would say like that is the better like playoff option rather than a guy who can give you like 5 mediocre to good innings. Like there's just not really a place for that in the playoffs. Like you need great all the time or you're getting yanked. And I don't think Clayton Kershaw really solves for the postseason as much as some of the other guys. That being said, like his value, to your point, like the experience factor of it and the leadership, but you can do that from afar. Like if Clayton Kershaw is texting you, like during the series, like you're answering that regardless. You're listening to that regardless. Like I think a lot of his value is still there, whether he's on the roster or not. I just don't think like if he's not starting, like there's plenty of other guys that I think can go get you, that have a better chance of getting the out that you're facing in that situation than him. Doesn't mean he's not capable. Doesn't mean he's not a good pitcher.
Yeah.
Just there's not much room for like you're good, not great in the playoffs.
Yeah. Which some of the Reds bullpen is like that as well.
Yeah.
But we kind of have no choice.
Mm-hmm.
But
to your point, like
with this,
Chase Burns, like Chase Burns is a perfect guy.
Have Friday off.
Yeah, Chase Burns is like a perfect guy.
Yeah, he'll be in our rotation.
He's the opposite end of the argument where like shit might blow up in his face, but like it's going to be good or great, or it's going to be terrible or great, one way or another. And you're only giving him 3 batters probably to figure that out. So it just limits, it maximizes the good that he can do for you, and it limits the bad. Whereas Clayton Kershaw, like in 3 outs, what do you get?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I also think Kershaw obviously is just kind of eating innings right now too. But yeah, to your point, in a sprint of a 3-game series, you don't need innings eaters. You need, because even if you're up 8, you're still going to throw your best pitchers because you don't want the other team to get any sort of sniff of being able to come back. All right, Jake. Well, what do you think what's your prediction here?
I think I'm crazy if I go against the Dodgers, but I'll give you a game. I think you got Hunter Green or Abbott, or like you're getting a gem of a performance by somebody, and I think that's enough to steal you a game. I'll be rooting for you, though. That's the most important part.
That's what I love, and I think that's honestly, I think because like the entire nation, I'm weird and I believe in shit like this. I legitimately think because the entire nation's going to be pulling for us, I think we're going to win, but I can't in good conscience say that we're going to.
Do it, though. Do it, though. Come on.
You know, fuck it. Yeah, we're doing it.
There you go.
All right. And I'm even going to say Reds in 2.
Okay. Now we've.
And I think with the Reds in 2, if I'm going to say it, I might as well keep just digging myself into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think with it too, the narrative that's going to come out of it is that somebody from the Dodgers is going to give up a huge home run, and the question is going to be, why didn't you put in Shohei at that moment? Because he's slated to start Game 3, and if he doesn't get used, he's going to start Game 1 against the Phillies. They've already said that, but I feel like they're going to be dumb and not use him because they think they're going to win or whatever. And they're going to get criticized for that.
So
I think David Roberts is a genius.
I was going to say, so you think it's going to be a mismanagement storyline? I think
it's just going to be.
You can mismanage.
I think it's going to be one at bat. That's the mismanage. It's not like
he
should have been at the start of the inning. It's like they left. Let me pick somebody down here. They left. Blake Trinan comes in at in a big situation where he needs to give up a strike or he get a strikeout with like the bases loaded or something, and then Noelvi Marte is going to hit a bases clearing double, maybe a triple, advance on the throw.
All right, what pitch is it going to be? What count? Jesus.
Yeah, that reminds me of the who was it? I think it was a Marlins broadcast, and they had to like predict a home run. He's like, "Oh, I think it's going to be this guy. He's going to hit his first major league home run on a 3-1 count, top of the 7th, one out."
And nailed it. I remember that.
The only thing he missed was not hitting it into the second deck.
I think it was Rogers Center, I believe.
Rogers Center.
I don't want to say the
Jared
Rays. No, I don't remember who it was. I want to say it was the Rays, though.
It's like a crazy long last name like that.
Is it?
I don't think it's Salamakia, but it's somebody I've definitely heard of. All right, so you have Dodgers in 3. I have Reds in 2. Moving on then to your Chicago Cubs.
They are mine.
Go Cubs, go!
Got the jersey on.
Go Cubs, go! Huh?
Got the jersey on.
Oh, I see that. Let's hear it.
I think the Cubs are the better team. They get Kyle Tucker back. Obviously, that's like kind of obviously a huge add if Kyle Tucker is Kyle Tucker. But if Kyle Tucker is hurt Kyle Tucker, which obviously we saw for a couple months, is not very good. Obviously, he's going to be put in the middle of a lineup that could be detrimental to the team. But I think I've been pretty pessimistic about the Cubs all year. You know that. Like the second Justin Steele got hurt, like Shota's not been throwing the ball well. We did just get Tyone back. Matthew Boyd starting game 1, I believe. He's been struggling over the last little bit. I've always been concerned that the starting pitching staff, to be specific, because I do have faith in their bullpen, and I have faith in Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell's won me over this year, by the way. I think he's done a good job managerial-wise. But my concern has always been the starting staff, and I still have concerns about that. The good news is I think this is a perfect draw for the Cubs in the sense that they get the Padres, who have struggled to score runs despite their star power. I think the Padres are very beatable, even though they're kind of my adopted team in a lot of ways this year, just from some of the short form content that I've done. So I'm sad to see them matching up from that standpoint, but as a Cubs fan, I'm very happy that we get our toes wet a little bit with the Padres. I think we're the better team. I think we're a complete team in the sense of like a wild card matchup. Once, hopefully we get to the second round, in which case concerns start to creep in. But I think we're comfortably a playoff team. Obviously the season showed that, like, we weren't sweating out down the stretch. So yeah, I'm going to take the Cubs in the opening matchup. Depends how they kind of respond and how they're stacked up for what I think them versus the Brewers if they get to that point. But I don't know. I like the matchup. I wouldn't say I love the situation from a full playoffs standpoint for the Cubs, but I like where they're at for the opening series.
Yeah, your guys' draw which is, I mean, obviously it shakes out the way it does. It's not like it's really a draw, but yeah, I'm also upset that it's you guys versus Padres. Like you, even though I haven't done as much of the short form content on them as you have, but I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Padres recently, just because they're a really fun team. Love Tatis, Machado, and Merrill as that core of that team. I feel like Arise fits in perfectly there. But I'm with you here. I am also picking the Cubs, probably in 3, which I feel like these games are going to be very high scoring because you guys haven't really been able to pitch recently. And I feel like all of even though they got big names and Pivetta, Cease, King, and you, I feel like they've been kind of ass recently as well. So I don't know if that's really going to change in the playoffs. But I think it's going to be just an absolute fight. Like it's just going to be runs. And I'm excited
Really
to watch it.
interesting.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's all pitching. I just don't have faith in the offenses. Like I think the Padres leave a lot of runs on the table because they sit around and wait for home runs. That's nothing new in terms of my thoughts on that. I don't expect that to change in the playoffs. Although, like if there's a time to push things, might be the time. But I think they got to this point being conservative, which is fine. I think they could have been better given the talent on their team. I think their pitching has been, to your point, good names. I don't think they've performed. Like Michael King's been hurt. Like Darvish was hurt to start the year. Just like it seems like they're just for the entire year like knocking off rust a little bit. Cease is really good, but like is prone to big innings and like power and stuff. But like the weather's supposed to be good. With Wrigley, very weather dependent. Previous playoff runs and stuff, like it gets cold there, and when it gets cold and the wind's blowing off the lake, like it's almost impossible to hit the ball like more than 2 rows deep into the stands. Like you really got to catch one.
Just basket shots.
Yeah, where like just the dynamic and like how the games play out come October can change, but I think it's like kind of set up for offense a little bit. But that being said, I don't think both teams are very good offensively. And with Kyle Tucker coming back and being kind of more unknown, I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah. I think the main reason I think it's going to be kind of hot is because, I mean, like you were saying, Padres lean on home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying before, I think your pitching's not been very good recently. Like Taillon's been fine, Colin Ray has been fine, but I don't think you're going to use either one of them in a starting role outside of Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I've watched Shota recently, he gives up like 8 home runs.
Yeah, he's always been prone to it, and it's kind of catching up because he's been tired. A lot's been on his shoulders, to be fair, but
yeah. But then you guys, your offense has been pretty weak recently, although it's one of the better on the whole, or the season as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But Bush and Seiya have been red hot recently.
Nico Horner as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I think Seiya had finished the year hitting 4 straight games with a home run. Michael Bush, I feel like, was getting an RBI every single game, at least if not running. I need you guys to have PCA actually fucking do something. I feel like he's been dog shit recently too.
He's shown like signs of coming around. That's the thing. Like all the Cubs guys, like they can get hot. Like Seiya is very streaky. PCA is very streaky. Like Kyle Tucker's streaky, but like the only consistent things are like Nico Horner, Dansby, although his consistency is like batting 240 with like maybe he squeaks out a home run here and there, and defense oriented. And Nico Horner is like super consistent. It's just, they have the upside. I'm a little bit nervous how like it all works out in the end, but then again, you can say that about any team. Like it's the playoffs. There's so much weight on every individual game. The place where I'm confident in, I guess, is the pitching depth is good. So like if Shota gets rocked, like he might only pitch 2 innings, for example, but then like we can piecemeal, I'm a member of the Cubs organization, but we can piecemeal the other 7 innings and still be competitive in that game. So like, I don't think there's much room for like us just getting knocked out like early innings and losing a game that way. That being said, like it doesn't feel like we have a stud that we can just be like, you're getting mowed down for 7 straight innings and there's nothing you can do about it. When you look at like the Reds or the Dodgers or literally every other team feels like they have a stud.
Yeah.
Every other team.
I kind of forgot rosters go back down to 26, by the way.
Yeah.
Very curious to see who both you guys, I'm assuming it's going to be one of your three catchers. And I don't know who we would keep off, but yeah, I feel like it's just going to be a battle of the bats are better than the arms, even though that Padres bullpen is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
The super pen, as everybody likes to call it. I don't know. I just feel like this one seems like it's just poised for offense, and I could be very wrong. Like I understand that Cubs offense as a whole has been pretty cold recently. The Padres, I think, are middle tier of runs scored, but they've got some massive bats in that lineup.
Yeah, this is the one matchup that it could go at any which way, and I wouldn't be too surprised. Like like Dodgers Reds, like if the Reds win, it's going to be through pitching. I'm pretty confident in saying that. For example, like this could go 1,000 different ways, and I don't really know which way to lean. But when you take a step back at it and just think holistically, like I think the Cubs are the better team.
I would agree.
So I'm just like, that's pretty much what it's based on. Like I can say it's going to be a pitching duel because I don't believe in the offenses and I believe in the pitching. But then again, like I can't argue against anything you're saying either. Like it's a kind of a crapshoot of a series, more so than some of the other ones.
Yeah, like there's not even really anything that is making me want to say this is going to be run filled. It just, I don't know. I just feel like it will be because it's just on paper and by name, it's two high powered offenses, but just of recent, they've not been high powered.
I got a question for you, and I should know this as a baseball fan, but I don't really contracts. I don't get as wrapped up in that kind of thing as you do, and like roster requirements. But you cannot be on a postseason roster without is it just one game that you have to play during the regular season, or is it a minimum of?
No, I don't know when they changed it, but you had to be on the 40-man roster by noon of September 1st. Sal Stewart can play. He got called up the morning of September 1st. So they give you the morning of that day to call up your 27th and 28th man guys.
Just to the 40-man, though, do you have to play an MLB game?
I don't believe you have to play in a game. I actually have that open.
Do you have roster resource open? If not, I can.
Yes.
Very quickly. So the Cubs signed Billy Hamilton a little bit ago, and he was playing in the minors, did not appear in an MLB game. But as we see, oftentimes teams will bring up like Terrence Gore. I don't know if you remember that name from like the Kansas City days, but a lot of times there's a role for a pinch runner who might suck at every other aspect, but they're fast and they can steal bases. As a plug and play for a given situation. Billy Hamilton might be that guy.
Cut you off. Billy Hamilton is not on your 40, but I don't know if he ever was at one point. I don't know if you have to.
Okay. I don't think he
on the 40 at that
would have
been on the 40.
I don't think he would have been because it was kind of like a let's test and see.
You can also petition to the commissioner, and as long as the player is in the organization on August 31st and is replacing someone who is injured and has served the minimum amount of time requirement for activation. So,
I was just curious if is he going to make the roster? But I don't think he can.
I don't believe he can.
Just would have been kind of a interesting strategy talking about like minimum roster. Just because I'm obviously closer to the Cubs than I am any other team.
Yeah, so you can bring him up if somebody gets hurt, but you'd have to Manfred has to tell you that you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay. I hope they don't allow it. Also, he's 35 years old. He didn't look fat, like he's stealing bases, and I'm like, ooh, that's awfully close if you're going to be you're stealing this against minor league guys. Like he didn't look as fast as like game breaking speed that would be worthy of a roster spot. But just curious because I knew that you would know that answer, or at least get a lot closer to that answer than myself.
So something with that too. If you replace somebody, that person that gets replaced is then cannot be used for the rest of that series, and then also has to sit out the following series.
Makes sense.
So if that does get invoked to where you have to call him up, whoever he replaces, I would assume it would have to be a pretty serious injury to where they're not going to be back for 2 weeks.
I was going to say, speaking from my Cubs experience, like Kyle Schwarber was on the World Series team. He played like 4 games that year because he tore his ACL in Arizona on like game 4, I think. And then you didn't hear anything about him. And then all of a sudden, like 2 days before the World Series, they're like, oh, by the way, Kyle Schwarber might be in. He's been standing there watching like 1,000 pitches a game or 1,000 pitches a day or something, like in the cage, like getting his strike zone back and everything. And then he played. I couldn't rattle off his numbers, but I know he had like a double in his first plate appearance or something. And it's just one of the fear of him being there was almost just as important as any production that came with it. Like you're forcing like Andrew Miller at the time, like in that World Series, like to come in to face him because it's lefty on lefty, and you almost like burn the good guy out of the bullpen just to get him out, regardless of what he does. Like there's some sort of value in having a threat, and like in Billy Hamilton's case, or name whatever random ass player super fast that you've never heard of that might make a roster spot somehow. Like that's so fearful.
Travis Jankowski.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like those types of guys who like you're only around and you are
Stuart Fairchild
getting MLB like experience because you're fast and can steal bases, which I don't hate. Like there's
you get to pinch hit once a week.
Yeah, like we used to have lefty specialists who would come in and face one batter. Like that's kind of out.
I kind of miss those days.
I appreciate it, but like
I like the strategy behind not being able to do that now. But
I kind of wish you could do that in the
fun.
playoffs, because like if anybody's like, oh, these playoff games are taking too long, like go fuck yourself. This is like the best part of baseball, obviously. So I'd much rather take the speed of play over lefty matchups.
Do you like the 4-hour playoff games though?
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Where one half inning would last 30 minutes just because.
Don't care. It's supposed to be a chess match. Like it's all hands on deck
even
for
if
everything.
You bring the guy in for one batter and he walks the guy, and then they're like, all right,
yeah,
bring somebody else in.
The one thing I always hated was like, I'm going to bring this pitcher in, and then they're like, all right, now I'm going to pinch hit this guy. And so you go like through the warm ups, he's standing on the mound, and then the pinch hitter gets announced, and then they like go through it again. That's the part I couldn't stand. Like we could speed up that process with accomplishing the same thing.
I like that part.
And don't get me wrong, regular season, I'll take the pace of play over individual matchups any day of the week. But like for playoffs, I feel like we should have, you should be able to put in whatever players you want, really.
Yeah.
It's your fault if it goes to that extra innings and you're screwed. Like, there's no advantage.
Yeah. I feel like PitchCom should get – I think it does get a little extended. But, yeah, I feel like we should just relax on a lot of the rules that made regular season baseball better to watch in the postseason.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at our roster right now trying to figure out who we're going to not have on it. I don't know. That's interesting. I'll have to think about that more. All right, so to recap, I believe as far as the – sorry, I'm trying to get the bracket up really quick just so I can see it while I'm looking at it.
I hope you remember our picks, because I might not.
I do, which you're going to have to confirm for me. That's why I'm going to say it right now.
All right.
So Tigers, Guardians. I believe you said Guardians in 2. I believe I said Guardians in 3.
Sounds right.
Red Sox, Yankees. I believe I said Yankees in 2. You said Red Sox in 3. Or sorry, Yankees in 3.
Correct. Yeah.
This is boring, by the way. Outside of the Reds, which you forced me to pick the Reds. That's the only difference we have. Reds, Dodgers. I have Reds in 2. You have Dodgers in 3. And then Padres, Cubs. I believe we both said Cubs in 3.
Yes.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying of us. But, I mean, we're entitled to our own opinions, you know?
That's true. To be fair, we didn't talk about it beforehand, so it just kind of is what it is. It's raw. It's authentic. Can't get mad at that.
Of the four, which one's your – obviously – and you're not allowed to pick the Cubs unless you really want to pick the Cubs here. Mm-hmm. But what's the matchup you're looking forward to the most?
Yankees, Red Sox, specifically Game 1. Fried, Crochet.
Especially in the New York crowd.
Yeah.
Just going to be fucking screaming at all the Red Sox players. Because I'm not a Cubs fan, I am allowed to pick the Padres Cubs. Just because since I think that one's going to be a little higher scoring than the general consensus is. I don't know. I'm just looking for that because it's just 2 high-powered teams that I feel like pitching's just going to not be there, and it's going to be exciting and fun to watch.
I'm really
which I would pick the Reds, but we're just going to win like by a combined like 14-0. So.
Yeah, something like that. I am very curious to see like if there's one wild card team, not in the sense of playoff wild card, but like one team that might look a hell of a lot different in the playoffs than they did regular season. To me, that team's the Padres.
Do you mean for the better or for the worse?
I think they were so conservative, probably knowing like you're not chasing down the Dodgers over 162. Like, let's just.
I mean, they could have.
Kind of. Like the Padres could have stepped on the
like 3 games.
Right, but like the Dodgers could have stepped on the gas a little bit more too, like you would think. Like I think they knew that like most likely they're going to be a wild card team if they make the playoffs. So let's make sure we don't fuck that up. And I think because of that, they got a little bit conservative like throughout the entire year, not necessarily just on the stretch, but like their aggressiveness on the base paths, like they had a bunch of pitching injuries where kind of seemed like let's just knock the rust off these guys. Let's not push anybody too much. Like that's the one team that I think could look a lot different in a playoff situation than regular season situation. So I am excited to see how that unravels a little bit, but like Yankees Red Sox has everything you could ever want in playoff baseball.
Yeah, especially with the Red Sox being kind of frisky as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they're super young and they don't have the crazy names that
they don't have Roman Anthony.
And like the Yankees, yeah, that sucks.
That would be so so cool
like,
to watch.
Just because it's that,
mm-hmm.
and it's that historic. I don't think I said that right. That rivalry, it's going to be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, can't wait.
I do love that both matchups on the AL side are division matchups.
I know you know this, but I have a lot of PTO that I have to use before the end of the year. 21 days to be exact. You want to take a day off while there's still day playoff games? Post up, watch them all.
I texted you about it today and you didn't respond.
I was working. I shouldn't have been. I should have taken PTO today. I could have responded.
So was I. I took.
Yeah, I'm a better employee.
Less than 5 minutes to read a text and respond.
These groceries aren't going to sell themselves, Matt. Just kidding. If there's one thing out there that's going to sell themselves, it's groceries.
Yeah, it's food.
Not HVAC systems.
Well, I was considering. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that because I'd like to do that, and we can have some fun. Midday stuff.
It's like 7:30 a.m. Get 9 holes in, maybe 18. Get back, post up at Sportsbook or something. Watch some fucking playoff baseball all day.
Let's go sports bar.
Who says no?
I don't.
All right.
I just need to figure out which day works best for me.
Let's do it. And we can put out some content for the people to watch with us. How about that?
Agreed. So I feel like we should do another one at the end of this series.
Yeah, let's do one every series.
Obviously, that would have to be Friday since it starts Saturday.
Fine. And
right?
I'll clear the schedule for you, Matt.
I believe. Also, a fair amount of coaches either got fired or extended today, which we can talk about later as well, since that's more of an off-season topic. But the one that did shock me was Carlos Mendoza staying with the Mets. I thought for sure in that collapse they were just going to pin it on somebody and throw it on him.
That happens too much.
I'm glad they didn't. Payroll.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, but you got the highest payroll or the second highest payroll in the league.
Yeah, and their money's all spent on offense, and their offense was perfectly fine.
You spent $260 million more than the Reds did, and the Reds tied you.
Yeah. You can't go into the season having
so the next
Clay
series
Holmes, a failed starter, and Drew Peterson being your.
I feel like Clay Holmes did fine.
Yeah, they did fine, but that's not a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
And then nice, you have Edwin Diaz, but you got to get
Saturday,
to him.
By the way. Yeah.
Next round starts on Saturday. All right, so Friday we'll film again.
Yeah, well, because I guess we could do Thursday if or when my prediction of the Reds comes right, because we'll be done playing Wednesday night.
What if all games go 2-0, or all series go 2-0?
That sounds Oh, that'd be so annoying.
I know.
If that is the case, we can do that Thursday night.
All right. We'll figure it out for the people.
Give us more time. Yeah. Alrighty. But yeah, we'll see you guys for the DS series, where we'll be doing basically the same exact thing. At some point, we need to mix back in our over-under review, which we can always do after the playoffs, or even once
year in review
the series go down to only two. Yeah, and only two series. Like once we get to the CSs, there's not as much to talk about. Series, I'd like to do a review and then a prediction of the next series. I mean, honestly, in the most perfect world, I'd like to just get on this every single night, but
not realistic.
Having full-time jobs, that's not very realistic.
Yeah, y'all got to figure out how to get us paid.
If somebody wants to give us a lot of money to quit our jobs,
hit up FanDuel, give them a sponsor us.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for us. Those are our predictions. Hopefully you guys don't think we're stupid. And if you do, let us know.
Yeah, fine with being stupid.
Peace, everybody.
Later.
Yeah, it's fine. See ya.